We want to believe there's a reason for everything. That everything that happens in our world, no matter how bizarre or how baffling, can be explained. But sometimes things happen that seem to defy logic. A fishing trawler disappeared, only to be found mysteriously undamaged at the bottom of the Pacific. Residents of a Texas town reported mysterious lights in the night sky, UFOs that had the US Air Force in hot pursuit. A scientist endeavors to prove an incredible theory. Do cows stand facing the Earth's magnetic poles? And from the depths of the ocean, one of the loudest, mysterious sounds ever heard. Can hard science and driven investigators discover the truth? Or is the best we can do to ask, is it weird, or what?
I don't know what it is. I'm holding this camera as steady as I can. Now I got a round ball.
It could be a scene straight out of a sci-fi film. The inhabitants of a Texas town witnessed the night skies set alight by UFOs, seemingly in a skirmish with US Air Force F-16s. Was this mass sighting really an authentic alien visitation? It's time to separate hard fact from science fiction. January the 8th, 2008, in the quiet dairy town of Stephenville, Texas. A peaceful evening for Erath County Police Officer Leroy Gayton and pilot enthusiast Steve Allen was suddenly disturbed by a close encounter of the third kind.
When I got out of my car, I saw this bright light, appeared to be changing colors.
It was real close, like 1,500 foot in the air and about 1,500 foot over from us. And whatever it was didn't make any noise at all. It was totally silent.
Everyone in the community has accepted that there was something strange happening the night of January the 8th, 2008 in Erath County.
Gayton and Allen were not the only ones to witness the mysterious light show. By morning, UFO sightings were reported across the whole county.
You know, you'd always see the UFO shows on TV, and I really didn't believe in UFOs. I mean, I always thought there was a legitimate explanation.
I feel like these are from somewhere besides Earth. I don't think they're from Earth. It was almost like a biblical event. We couldn't come to a conclusion of what it was.
But the mysterious lights were just part of the story.
We went into the house to figure out what happened, and somebody called and says they're coming back by, and we ran outside, and that's when we saw the two F-16s in pursuit. And I thought, well, why is our government chasing something, you know, or what are we doing, you know, or are we at war with somebody, or it could be end times, or a lot of things passed through my mind.
So did Steve Allen and other witnesses see the US Air Force in a clash with alien invaders? Cognitive neuroscientist Professor Alison Sekula specializes in researching how the human brain interprets everyday events. She believes there may be a more down-to-earth reason for the mystery of these lights.
Officially, UFO stands for Unidentified Flying Object. People don't like unidentified. The brain doesn't like unidentified. The brain's job is to make sense of the world.
To psychologists, eyewitness statements, especially those of mysterious and hard-to-explain phenomena, are often innocent misinterpretations.
Different people can look at exactly the same thing out in the real world and see completely different things, because the way that you see the world is not actually a reflection of what's physically out there. It's a reflection of how that information interacts with your brain.
When faced with something new, the brain looks for answers by trying to match what we're seeing with something similar from previous experience, memory, or cultural background.
movies can have a big impact on the way that we think about and see the world. So if there hadn't been a whole flurry of UFO movies in recent history, it'd be less likely that all these people would have said, it's a UFO.
I'm not saying I saw a UFO, but with all the reports from everybody else, apparently that's what I saw.
So, it was possible the people of Stephenville, Texas didn't see alien invaders doing battle with the US military after all. But they saw something. What was it?
There is no evidence that the Earth has been visited in the past or is being visited today by extraterrestrial aliens. No evidence whatsoever.
James McGahey is a retired Air Force pilot and skeptic about aliens. He believes he has the answer to the mysterious lights. They were military flares.
This is Stephenville right here. Here's where the aircraft were flying that night. At the exact time they were saying they saw lights in the sky, there were 8 F-16s in the area, flying maneuvers, both with afterburners, which produce lights with their formation lights on, and they were dropping flares.
Flares are used by the Air Force to solve 2 different yet equally important problems. One, there are ground illumination flares. These flares are dropped from aircraft in order to light up an area on the ground several kilometers wide. The flares are suspended in the air by a parachute. The heat from the flare helps to keep it aloft. 2, there are countermeasure flares. This kind is used to confuse enemy missiles. The heat of these flares is hotter than the heat from the afterburner, causing heat-seeking missiles to lock onto and track the flares instead of the military's jet.
The aircraft were maneuvering all around, the flares were being dropped, so there was lights and everything. It would be very difficult for someone, unless they knew exactly what the military maneuvers were, to actually understand who was chasing what.
Flares being dropped from F-16s in wargame exercises seemed like a plausible explanation, but eyewitness Steve Allen, himself a former Air Force pilot, wasn't convinced by McGahey's theories.
Lights we saw traveled at a high rate of speed all the way from the east to the west and come back by with jets chasing it, and only like 1,500 feet off the ground. So, yeah, what we saw was definitely not a flare. It was quite spectacular. They was on the same height and trajectory, you know, they was following it or attempting to keep up with it. You could see the full afterburner coming out the back of the F-16s, probably, you know, I'd say they was running in excess of 500 or 600 miles an hour themselves.
Allen's belief that the lights were UFOs actually being chased by fighter jets is supported by one crucial question. If these were simply flares, why didn't the Air Force admit it?
Carswell Air Force Base and the military in Fort Worth originally denied anything out here, and then they denied that F-16s was there. And of course they was from here no further than 2 football fields away, so we know they was there.
Later on, as I discovered, there were indeed aircraft flying that night, and the Air Force, the Public Affairs Office, put out a press release saying we made a mistake. There was nothing more to it, nothing sinister at all to it, just a mistake.
Inconsistent disclosures have often fueled UFO speculation. In a case known as the Roswell case, the military said they'd captured an alien spaceship, then recanted, leading UFO experts to claim a cover-up.
We can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any agency of the United States.
Military communications expert Stephen Douglas believes the Stephenville lights were indeed Air Force flares, but were being used as part of a military cover-up, not to hide the existence of aliens, but to hide top-secret black ops.
Well, as it goes with the Stephenville sightings, I think the truth is that a lot of people are saying what they think are extraterrestrial spaceships. They're not. They're saying military projects. I'm basically what you would call a black project researcher. I'm one of those guys who gets in a lawn chair, sits out on a mountaintop, looking over a base that doesn't exist, hoping to see the odd secret spacecraft, airplane, whatever, new